Hi, my name is Tiger, and for my video presentation for senior seminar, I will be doing a quick video tutorial on Drupal. Drupal is a content management software. It's used for making websites and other applications. It's great because it has a bunch of built-in performance and security functionality. And what sets it apart from other website builders is that it's free and it's also open source. So chances are, usually how a development cycle goes when I work with Drupal is I try to make everything I can through their UI that they provide. And then whenever I need something more complicated, someone else has most likely done it before, and you can just install everything that they've done and use all that functionality and just get to work all through UI. When you want things more customized or even more complex, usually that's when you got to jump into the code and do it yourself. We're not going to get that far, but it's one of the things that makes Drupal so powerful. So this is what a fresh install of Drupal looks like. Now for my specific install, I'm running it on a virtual machine called VirtualBox by Oracle. I started off with a slight code base, but it'll pretty much look just like what a fresh install would look for anyone. So I'm not going to go over how to install Drupal because you can go on their webpage. There's a bunch of documentation. You'll have to install like a ton of dependencies. Once you get all that done, you can create as many sites as you want, like I said, all for free. We're going to do standard installation. The virtual machine I'm running it on is one of the reasons why it's going so slow. Okay, and our like I said, my database is already kind of set up. There's really not anything in it content-wise. Okay, fast forward, and now the installation is finished, and this is the next page you'll see. So our site name will be called Blackboard because we're just gonna try to mimic that. Email address would be like your own email address. I wonder if I can get away without really saying anything right now. Seems good enough. I'll be admin, and we are in the US of A. And time zone Los Angeles will do. But this is what the default site will look like. And so how we're going to do this is we're going to try to get like these 3 blocks. We already kind of have this toolbar. It's not populated at all, but we'll just say that's good enough because this is going to take a while and I'm not even sure if I could fit this stuff in 15 minutes. So how we're going to do this is we're going to make content of type announcements and taxonomy of courses, which doesn't make sense right now, but give me a sec. So this is what it looks like to an admin. I'm logged in. If someone else logged into your site, they would not see any of this stuff up here. But under admin, we're going to go to structure. And then lots of options. We'll be messing with a lot of these. We'll start with taxonomy. So taxonomy is basically like a tagging system. And so we'll just make tags for the different courses right now. That's probably not the best way to do it because you're going to want to store a lot of information about courses. Stuff like the teachers and all the students, everything like that. But just for our one little page and just to show you the different features. So vocabularies are basically like your bigger group for tags. We will call ours courses. We do not need a description. It's a pretty self-explanatory title. And then we're going to add a couple classes. We'll kind of copy what Blackboard calls them. All right, so each kind of tag is called a term. The neat thing about Drupal's taxonomies is, as you can kind of see there, you can drag and drop their handles or group terms under a parent term. So if I wanted to, I can name something like a description. We don't need a description. And we don't need any of these. This is kind of what I'm talking about with the parent terms and stuff like that. So what that'll basically let you do is it makes it so, say I wanted to create a bigger parent group called just like computer science, and then I could put all the CS classes in there. That way when I wanted to maybe send out an announcement to all the CS students, I don't have to individually tag each course. I can just tag CS or computer science, and then it'll automatically send the announcement to everybody. So we'll do another thing with 490 fall 2017, but we'll make this section 3 this time. And then we will also add a different course. We'll add game programming, section 1, fall 2017. All right, while that's loading, since we'll probably be on a time crunch, I'll get started with the announcement. So the announcements, we're going to be using a content type. So basically, content is something that your users can create if given the permission. So in this case, we would give faculty permissions to publish content of type announcements. All right, and just so you can see, we added the term over here. So our content type will be called announcements. Description, we'll just call it, say, announcements for your students. We will not make them preview before submitting. It will be optional. We do not want to promote this to the front page. We are going to customize our front page a bit differently, so we don't want to automatically do that. We are not going to display the author and date information. If all goes well, it'll kind of look like this, which doesn't bother displaying it. It'll just be by class. And we can just leave that as is. So save and manage fields. Fields are kind of when, in this case, when you go to create a new content, you'll see like a text box for a title and then a text box for, you know, a body paragraph. Those are each fields, a title field and a body field. And we can add more. We can add all different kinds, but we specifically want to be able to add a tag for which courses you're referring to. All right, so our field will be of type, there's all different stuff like date, email, you can reference number somewhere, even other content. You can do users too, so if we wanted like to make sure that only, I don't know, send it out to certain users or only certain users can see this page, we could do it there, but we're just going to do taxonomy term, and we will call it with a label courses. So yeah, taxonomy term, and we will allow it to have unlimited amount of values. That way you can keep tagging classes if you so desire. Since there's like several CS 490 sections, you can tag all of them in a single post. So now we're actually going to create the views for it, the displays. So we're going to go to structure. And we exit out of this. Oh, you know what? First, we have to actually create some announcements. So I'll try to multi-task this and do it in 2 separate tabs because it's going to take forever to load otherwise. So views. Views is what these are, you know, what you actually see. So we're going to go there to try and make our little My Announcements block and My Courses block. Let's do some content first, actually. So add content. So as long as given permission, users can access this too. So I could create under the people tag, you can create a role called faculty, and then, oh, here's the content type we made earlier, announcements. And you can give faculty the permission to see this add content, to be able to add content, to be able to edit their own content, edit all content, so on and so forth. You can even add your own permissions later. If you make new things, you can customize it. All right. So just like we dictated, we have the title one, which is always required, this body text field, and then this courses tag bar, which is the one we added. So this will be called light tending talk on Thursday. I don't need to feel like a shadow body. And I will tag CS 490 section 3. And I will also tag section 4. This little 2 right here is the taxonomy term ID. It's pretty much just for if you wanted to do any queries with the database. Drupal uses MySQL, I'm pretty sure. Alright, so you can save and keep unpublished if you want to just like draft it, but we're just going to save and publish it for now. Oh, I think we have, yeah, okay, good. These are kind of the things that you saw me set, sort of the default settings. You can also change them per item on here. While we wait for this one to load, let's work on those views I was talking about. So on here, these are both kind of lists. This would be a list of announcements we're just going to do, and this is going to be a list of all your courses. So we're going to add a view while that's still publishing. Okay, so we're going to call this view My Courses. It's going to be that sidebar that has everything. So we're going to show, not content, we're going to show taxonomy terms. Taxonomy terms only of type courses. And we'll just leave it unsorted, and we're going to create a block. So it will be an unformatted list of taxonomy terms. Oh, create a block. Unformatted list of taxonomy term. Once again, we'll just leave it at 5 because most of the time there's 5 courses showing, but you can obviously make it more. Alright, so we're going to try to make this look just a little bit more like this. So we already have the tools in the side, so we'll just leave that. We don't need the search bar, so that's inside sidebar first. So we will just disable that, we won't delete it. Get rid of all this footer stuff, because that's not on Blackboard site. Kind of get rid of everything, or at least disable everything that's not on Blackboard. We'll leave all that stuff. So inside the content region is where we'll put the My Announcements. If you remember, that was just like center stage. And so if you remember when we created our My Announcements and our My Courses, we specifically clicked the Build a Block checkbox, and that's why we can reference those from this page. So let's just search it by My Announcements, place. Yeah, we'll just leave it as 5. It'll only be of type announcements. I think we set all that inside when we actually built it, but just in case. We can change the user roles like I was saying earlier, but we're not going to mess with any of that stuff. Okay, and then going back to block layout. And then we will, inside our sidebar secondary, place the My Courses. And as I touched on earlier, this is not good practice. This stuff is what's supposed to show up on every page, which is why main page content is what it normally has. Oh, damn it, I didn't save all the stuff we dragged earlier. It's okay, we'll do it again. So we'll do my courses. All right, and we'll just leave as is. There we go. This stuff should still show. That's probably the help thing that I didn't actually disable. This no front page add content stuff. I think this welcome to Blackboard is the page title, which I also didn't disable. But after you disable that, it should just show the my announcements. It still doesn't look anything like this, but just for the functionality of the base page, this is about as good as we're gonna get. Okay, thank you.